If you ever want to go fishing in Michigan, go to the Au in Grayling, Michigan. It's in northern Michigan, and this is known as the holy water for fly fishing. And here's a map of all the different places you can stop at. Pause it wherever you feel you need, and then there's a dam up here.
They'll be fine. You gotta come this way. So they started up that way? They started at Ray's in town. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
So you can fish anything here.
The 3-hour tour has been, they left at 2 p.m.
So this here is Louis Landing. It's a little bit further downstream from Burton's Landing. It's a solid straight in to the river, and you can go both ways. It's a pretty wide river. House right there, and then a house right over here. So be quiet and kind of follow the river regulations. Try and be quiet, and that's the way the river goes. Out that way, Louis Landing. Let's check out some more.
The current is a little deceiving. It's moving pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Keystone Landing, right?
Yeah, this is Keystone Landing. You fish, Earl?
It never hurts to dry shake it again.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
That's a little guy.
Where is he rising?
25 feet.
Oh, right there.
Keystone Landing, so far our favorite. It's really wide. As you could see, there was somebody fishing. We sat, after filming it, we watched them fish, and there were quite a few jumping. They might be, 6 inches, but
They
they're
weren't
still
just
pretty
jumping,
big.
they were grabbing flies off the top of the water. That's what they were. They were grabbing stuff off the top of the water.
So use the floaters.
We used the dry flies.
That's right.
Next, we're going to. So right now, our favorite is Keystone Landing because there's a lot of cover. There's a lot of structure there. So Thendara Road, supposedly there's a lot of structure there. And that's
Thendara Road is next.
Oh, and there's a path you can walk up, and then
we'll see. This is the main book that we're using. Shows you all the different spots. And M72 is the main road that you go on, and you just keep taking left turns onto the different roads that head towards the river, and then eventually you'll cross a bridge that keeps you close to the river. As you can tell, the ensemble is very clear. So when you have polarized glasses, it removes the reflection. And we'll just see if we can see any fish jump while we're recording. Nothing. So peaceful though. Another note that we thought of is that it's a really good idea to have 2 cars. That way you can park here and then go somewhere else with another car, go upstream or go downstream, work your way upstream. When you're doing fly fishing, you always want to do upstream. You always want to walk upstream because the fish face upstream so they don't see you coming. So always go upstream, and then try and have 2 cars because it makes it better, because you can just walk all the way upstream and then you'll be done. And you just drive back to your other car. This is an access point for Stevens Bridge. I'm not really going to do any more recording of where to go, but basically the river is always accessible at different parts, and this is another good part to walk into. It's a little bit deeper river, but still fishable. And just a hint, on the other side, the west side, here's the road. You go this way. You're going this way, but the river has a lot of this seaweed type stuff, so it might not be great to fish here. You just have to look, be careful not to grab.
Yeah, there's a ton of algae.
You could get hooked pretty easily here, but I mean, The area over here is pretty rocky, so just so you know. Just so you know. Beautiful.
They bristle up too.
Porcupine.
I asked if that was a porcupine.
On the way to Connor's Landing. So this is what to expect on your way to Connor's Landing. A lot of these roads have oily, kind of gravelly but sandy, packed down roads. So it's not too bumpy, but it is a little bit. You don't want to go fast on it because you could definitely drift or the brakes wouldn't work too well. So this is what to expect on most side roads in Grayling area, Michigan. You'll also come across some deer. As expected, it's the wild.
Come have lunch.
Connor's Flats, Connor's Landing, whatever you want to call it. So we are now, where are we? Connor's Flats right there. Right where the tape is, we're right there. So there's still plenty more river to do if you wanted to before you hit the dam. But that's an idea of where we've driven, where we've shown you. I believe that's the crossing where we were, yep. So a lot of space to go. And this is it. There are steps down. A landing spot. It's much wider than the rest of the areas that we've been to.
She's just making a ruckus, isn't she?
She is.
Can't see her.
But yeah, this is a good spot to fish. Plenty of area to fish. Plenty of area to spread out. It's quiet here. It's about half an hour, if not a little bit more, from downtown Grayling. And as you could tell, there was some off-road parts with some wildlife. So do not go fast. But hopefully,
Down there, you can see a kind of thing that sticks out. You see things that stick above. I think the ducks are sitting over there on the rocks.
anyways, hopefully, the next video that we do will be of us with a fish on, or catching a fish, releasing a fish, something. Because I have not caught a fish since Georgia when I did that video. We fished on the mat a couple times, maybe like 2 or 3 times, and I've caught nothing. So hopefully this one will be the one. This will be the place to get back in the groove, baby. So we started at Keystone, and they would be jumping. I mean, there's one jumping right there. They would be jumping like crazy. They would just be, jumping right here, and then right here, and then a couple minutes later right there. So there's quite a bit at Keystone. Upstream, and then we also went down to that little area, the makeshift little place they put in right there, which you can't really see, but it's right there. There's fish. We just didn't catch them. We were here for about an hour, about 2 hours, so we're going to the next place. Since we're not catching any fish, I figured I could show you the tranquility of watching the little muck.
Thankfully, watching your dad miss fish.
Hmm.
Oh, there's another one. I missed it. There's another one. I missed it.
There's a fish right by that rock. Right there. It's right in front of it. And I am not catching it. It's in front of it. I can see it. It's above it, right behind the rock now. But can't catch it. You might not be able to see it with the sunglasses. I might have to put the sunglasses on behind this camera, but I mean, it's right there, I promise you. Anyways, here is one of the fishing lines that I'm using. Looks like a grasshopper. They rose up to it, hit, but I could not catch it. And then here's another. I've been using, hold on. I've been using that one right there, the gray one. Second to the left, next to the squirmy worm. It's not in focus. But it's also a floater, and it's also nice to see because that white part stays up. So yeah. Just some of the bait that I've been using. Not bait, but hooks, I guess. Whatever. Try and catch some fish. No hits. Nothing but hits so far. But maybe we'll catch something eventually. Update. We are about 3.5 hours in. It's 11:30. And well, that's 4.5 hours in. And nothing. We've had a ton of bites here at Thurada, something with the TH. Another one jumped right there. So they're jumping like crazy over here. It's so clear I was able to stand still at one spot. I could see it come up, look at the bobber, and then go back down. And then I saw it come up, grab it, and then not stick with it. So I wasn't able to get it. So I've had a ton of hits. I've had a ton of seeing fish interested, look at it, and then just go back to their spot. But it's tough to see that, frustrating, because you don't hook anything. So a bunch of hits. The old man's back there. He's actually upstream, as one does go upstream, as I said yesterday. But I think I'm going to take a break later in an hour or so, and then so it might be a little bit darker. But right now it's just a beautiful day. I think it's like 65, 70s maybe, low 70s. But we've had no luck. Here's all the ones that I've been using. They like the squirmy worm. They like the grasshopper, which is about to fall off. I just used the woolly booger for sakes of using it. Change things up. But yeah, we'll see what happens next. I just don't get it. You see this grasshopper looking thing floating around the water like so. And I mean, I'd eat that. Like, check, I mean, comes floating past you, I'd be like, ooh, that looks tasty. Or like, ooh, dinner, yummy. Dessert too? Where's the dessert? Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's right here in front of your freaking eyes. Eat it. It is now 6 o'clock. We came to the TU Research, which stands for Trout Unlimited Research Area. And the parking lot is big. But the road to get here, as you could tell, was quite off-roady. Not bumpy or anything, it was just unmarked. If you're coming up this way, you're going to go past Connors Flat Road and Thunder. What was it, Dad? Thunder?
It was before Connors Flat Road, and
It's Thunder something. But if you're coming this way, there's a road. It's Connors Flat, then Thunder something, and then it's over here on the right. If you're going this way, it'll be before Thunder, and then you'll see Connor's on the right, and you'll go left before that. But it is, the exit is that way. You can't see it, but it definitely is that way. But it's 6 o'clock. I got a good nap in. Little baby Vinny got a nap in.
Yeah, you did.
And so here's the trail. You have to take a trail, and it takes you back to the river. I believe there's a mound or an upper area that you have to go around. You can't just go straight into the river. You have to go to the river and then over a little ways to get in safely. Another note is that I'll tell you once I'm on the river. So a quick lesson, these are the leaders that we're going to use. They're Rios. And you always want to make sure 5 pound limit, 5 pound
It's
test.
5x.
It's a 5 pound test.
Right.
And you're going to put it on the loop. Make sure that these themselves have a loop, because it just makes it a whole lot easier.
And when you first untie these, there we go. Now we got it all untied. You should not have a knot. Okay, this is really easy. You watching?
I'm watching.
Push this through here.
Put the tan one through the loop.
Yep. And then you, either one, tan one through the loop or the other one through, it really doesn't matter. Or you put that one through the tan loop. But what you're doing is then you're going to pull this through here.
Okay, put it through the other loop itself.
And then you pull it through, all the way through. There's no knot involved at all, except for right there. We might have one. Okay, when you get down here, the thing you got to do is you make sure that knot's over there, and then you make sure the knot's through here. You want to. There you go. Then you pull that over like that. There you go. That's it right there. Then you have that.
Okay.
That's it.
If it'll only focus. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Very
So
easy
another
to go. I want to make sure I didn't put a knot down here at the end.
example.
Of course I did.
There you have it, folks. It says river access right there. Keep going to the river, but on the path it just says there's a rock with the philosophy of trout unlimited, so I'll let you pause it. That way you can read it. It's pretty neat. Made it to the river. You will go right once you get down to the river. There's a very unmarked path that we took to get in. There's a tree, dead tree gone down. It goes pretty much right to where we got in, which is right there. We went to a place called Gates Fishing Lodge, as well as the one that was in town. We went to the one in town yesterday. We got some flies there, and then we went to Gates today and got some stuff there too. But they recommended us go here. And they also said that at this time of year, just so you know, at this time of year in early August, it's too warm to fish in Burton's Landing. So don't go to Burton's Landing in early August, late July, or after that until maybe October. And he didn't tell us when, but I'm going to guess that's when it might be cold enough, but it might be too late then. So just so you know, a little tidbit. Also, the holy water portion of the Au River is strictly no keeps. So it's all catch and release, and it's all fly fishing. So you can't use any live bait. You can only use.
Is there a monkey over there?
No, it's not as bad. Well, I'm trying to focus. Oh well. You get the gist. You can only use flies. This one kind of looks like a grasshopper too, similar. We'll see what happens here.
Want to switch your flags and stuff?
No, I'm good. A little 360 view of the river. quite tranquil till the canoers come half drunk. Philip, where are you? Philip, Philip, we gotta get a picture. Oof, that happened earlier, but not here, hopefully. All right, so we got one, boys and girls. It is a brook trout. I'll show you the coloring. It's about maybe 5-6 inches, not too big. It's still beautiful. I'm gonna put it back in the water. But that's the way it looks. And that's how it blends so well into the water. They're hard to see. But that is a brook trout. We caught one. I got one, baby!
Okay, let him go. Be free. Just turn your head inside out and he'll swim away.
I'm actually gonna grab it. That way I can get a picture. So what you'll do is you'll
Stop the video.
All right, so get your hands wet before you touch any fish. You don't want to hurt them. Your hand has salt or something. So there's that. Beautiful.
Okay, put him.
Can you get a picture with me in it?
You gotta
right,
bring him
I'm
up
gonna
higher. Bring him up higher. Higher, 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 higher.
All right, I'm gonna put him down. Goodbye, beautiful. Upstream, head upstream. And you can end the video. So that was exciting, but you're more likely to catch trees, branches, and then also these beautiful, beautiful plants, seagrass or river grass, because there's the hook. But as expected, just gotta hope that you catch a fish eventually. These are the stairs to go up, but you're going to want to go this way, over yonder, past that rock that you can see that's laying down on the path, because that'll get you here. It's too deep to cross here, but you'll be able to get out there, which was where we were. There are quite a few, maybe this big fish, or maybe this big, so not terrible, but they're right in front of me and I'm just watching them swim. So I've kind of lost enough flies to where they're too big for the fish. So I'll show you what it looks like with these polarized sunglasses, and maybe you'll be able to see a fish on camera. I doubt it, just because they're so hard to see even with these on in my own eyes. But I'll try and keep the camera still and try and look for movement in the water. And they're not big. They're not big. So here's without. And there's with. They move pretty quickly too. I'm not seeing anything with my own eyes, but oh yeah, there's a small one. I don't know if I can see it on the camera, but it was very small, maybe 3 inches. But if anything, you just got a good view of the river. Alrighty folks, well that wraps it up here at the Ensemble for us. We are done. We didn't catch anything this morning, but Dad, do you have any tips, fishing critiques tips that you would recommend for this?
Yes, if you think small,
get flies are much smaller.
True.
I mean, the ones that I got hits on this morning, they were so small I could barely see the fly. Even harder to get to tip it through the eye of it. Teeny tiny
Tricos, and
Yeah,
they were
early
the
morning.
lines were 8x.
They were like a pound-and-a-half test for the tippet.
Yeah, pound and a half test. So they're really small, but they were hitting and jumping at them. There was one that jumped for me, and then one that hit for my dad.
I had it on, and I let the line go slack, and it got away.
Yeah. So you got to go super small, at least in late August or early August, late July, and you have to go early. Earlier you go out, the better, just because. I mean, they stopped jumping right around what 8:30.
Yeah.
Because it was a madhouse as soon as we got in the water. They were boom, 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 just jumping everywhere, and
It was like rain almost.
yeah.
It's almost like
You saw
raindrops.
ripples everywhere on the river. So yeah, that's a little bit of our adventure here in Michigan, in the Au Grayling area. We are all done. No more fishing the Au. We're going to try and go up to the Escanaba River. I guess if I catch a fish, I'll just show you a video of or a picture of me catching the fish or the fish. But there's not really much for me to show up there other than what you've seen here, unless I find something worthy of doing another video for. But yeah, I figured I'd show you guys a little bit of a different part of the U.S. that I've never been to, and it is beautiful. The creatures that we saw were, I saw a mink. I thought it was an otter, but it was kind of like a caterpillar, how it puts its feet together. It kind of did that. So it was too like slinky for it to be an otter, I'd say. And so my dad said it was a mink, so I would agree. It was also a little bit thinner than an otter would be.
Yeah, a lot smaller.
Yeah, a lot smaller. So a mink, we saw a deer across the river. We saw a bald eagle that my dad pointed out, and then when he pointed out, it kind of started to fly away. So I barely caught it, but he saw it really well. Porcupine, we saw it on the edge of the road that I showed you barely. Little porcupine, didn't look like it was fully grown. A frog, I saw a frog. A chipmunk, a red squirrel.
Red squirrels, yeah.
And obviously the fish. Thank goodness we caught a fish. They are there. You just gotta have some magic touch and the magic pull, the magic fly fish, and patience. Quite a bit of patience, which I don't have.
And skill.
Which we both lack a decent amount. But yeah, we were at the Therata something TH, that one this morning. That wraps it up for us. If you ever want to fly fish in Michigan.